Classic has a very long run to the turn and enough early speed to make it a fairly run race, and an interesting one. In the Pacific Classic, Arabian Nights saved ground and got weight from very mediocre horses. The figure he earned that day would give him no shot to hit the board against these, and neither would his other efforts. Bright Future has a history that makes us question his soundness, and as the campaign goes on, those issues are more likely to show up. And yes, it is Pletcher with a dirt horse in California. Clapton has been in training without a break since early in his 2-year-old year, and he just keeps getting better. He may not be done developing either, but we think the pair of big efforts in his last 2, combined with the east-west ship, will probably temporarily cause him to back up now. Derma Sorogake jumped forward to win in Dubai and didn't back up that badly in the Derby. Your guess is as good as mine as to what figure this colt will run, and he needs a new top just to get in the conversation. But we have to say his top going in is the same as Arabian Nights and Saudi Crowns, and he might be a better horse now than 7 months ago. Proxy got better last year at 4, and is even better this year. Note that in March he shipped to Santa Anita and ran what was then his top, and did it at 1.25 miles. He followed that with an enormous effort at Oaklawn, and that one took something out of him. Now this horse is cycling forward again, and the timing is right for a big one. Proxy is shipping from Kentucky, but this is a Godolphin horse, and he's made this trip before. Saudi Crown came out with a big one in April and really hasn't gotten any faster since then, including his last. The first 2 times he ran that fast, he bounced, and he would not only have to avoid a bounce this time, but run faster than he ever has before, just to contend. Senor Buscador is coming off 3 big efforts. Even another of those probably wouldn't do much good, since he gets wide trips coming from behind even in smaller fields. But on top of that, this guy is exactly the type that should be ready to tail off. On the other hand, Ushba Tesora has clearly been pointed for this. After the big figure win in Dubai, he was given a break, then won prep in late September. We don't have figures for all the Japan races, but this guy is obviously a new horse since he got on dirt, with his only loss in a slop. There's a good chance he's ready to go back to that Meydan effort, which would give him a big shot here. White Abarrio was a good 3-year-old who jumped to a big figure for Safi Joseph early this year. But in his second start for Dutro, he went into a different zone, running the best figure since Flightline. Dutro immediately pointed in for this race. Plenty of time to recover, no prep, and he's had him at Santa Anita since September. If this horse runs back to his last, it's game over. And even that March figure would give him a real shot. Also note that Dutcher has run 4 horses at Santa Anita, and 3 have hit the board. There are 2 ways to look at Zandon. One is that he always runs figures that would get him a piece of this. The other is that he's done a lot of serious running and could be ready to tail off. We're not going to make a final decision until we see how Chad Brown's runners are doing, but we lean towards the second one. By now, we'll have a lot of information to digest, but we know one thing. This year's 3-year-olds, and Arabian Night especially, are way overrated. He would need a big jump forward just to get in the trot. White Barrio is the most likely winner of the Classic. Ushba Tesora, second most. We're going to use Proxy, especially if Godolphin is firing, and we will probably use Derma Sorogake a little, just because there are so many that we don't like.